Live from the Buffalo Wild Wings studio, here's Sports Nightly.
Welcome into Sports Nightly alongside my tag team partner, Nicole Weaving. I'm Yaw Bonsu. So on a night where there's no high school baseball, no high school softball, no high school track and field, which you've been doing a great job with, by the way, it still seems like a pretty packed show. Anthony Wayne baseball, back in its second Final Four in 3 years. The Generals are led by Ryan Donley. I sat down with the head coach to talk about what has been an absolutely insane playoff run, what the team learns from losing at this point in 2023, and much more. Just an unreal week for you guys. You're sitting at the dinner table, recalling the walk-off hit in the bottom of the 11th by Mason Jirwa. How do you explain it?
I don't know how you explain it. I really don't. It's kind of the mold of our team, though, right? Like it's one of them things where unless you're close, and we talk to our kids about keeping our circle small, so not a lot of people see it. They just say, oh, it's a crazy game, it's a walk-off hit, but as weird as it sounds, there wasn't ever panic. It was just like it's a matter of time, and this group's built different.
You guys are 5-1 in games decided by one run this season. Last year, that record was 2-1. What does the ability for you guys to stay in these tight games, be nearly perfect in these tight games, say about your team heading into the state Final Four?
Yeah, it's a good question. So what I did at the beginning of the year was, in the staff meeting and the coaches agreed, we made it as hard as we could on our kids. And I thought that our team would be very good at winning the easy games, winning 8-0, 10-0. We knew we had talented players. We knew we had a good, deep pitching staff. I didn't know if we were tough enough to win 3-2. We try to put our kids in position to have to play in those types of big moments, so that way when it matters, it's not overly huge. It's not exaggerated, and they're used to it and they're comfortable there.
Walsh Jesuit, that's your state semifinal matchup, as you mentioned. Sean Sullivan, top-ranked pitcher, fastball goes up to 96 miles per hour. How do you prepare your guys for that level of pitching?
You don't. You don't, because they have to see it, right? The speed of the game is something that's going to happen. But you know, we've got good guys too. There's no question that Sean Sullivan's the real deal. He's a great pitcher. I've watched plenty of film on him for not only this year, years past. You know, his reputation precedes himself. You know, but I think that we have a really good game plan against him. I think that, you know, whether we execute or not is yet to be determined. But we have a game plan that we think that will work, and we're excited. We trust our guys. You know. And we'll do some things this week to prep them for that and trying to execute. But at the end of the day, it's going to be who throws strikes, who makes routine plays, and who puts the ball in play. And I believe we have a group of guys that can do those things.
The theme is redemption. You guys know what it's like to not only make it to a state Final Four, but lose in a state Final Four. You guys lost in 2023. What changes will there be in your approach to the state Final Four this year compared to 2023?
There's some preparation things that we're doing a little bit differently. I think that then it was such a thrill. You know, myself and my staff being relatively new. I think we learned a lot about our preparation. I think that we're not just satisfied making it to the Final Four. We know the work's not done. We're grateful for the opportunity. We're humbled by the opportunity. We know that not everybody gets to this point, but in our mind, we set a goal at the beginning of the year, and the Final Four wasn't the goal. It was more than that.
How do you grade your team's playoff run so far in regards to whether or not it has reached its full potential?
We haven't, but the run has felt a little bit surreal to this point just because it feels like we're all spread out. You know, Clay and St. John's and those guys were on the other side of the bracket. We had a bye to the district final. Then all of a sudden we're playing 3 hours away in Xenia. So it's felt a little bit weird. I miss the local competition that we are used to in the tournament. I do miss that, but I don't miss the feeling of being in the Final Four, I can tell you that much.
You guys have won the district, the conference, here you are winning the regional. But for you guys to finally get over the hump and win a state title, what is it going to take?
Belief. It's going to take the culture that we've instilled in our kids, and then making the routine plays. Not anybody has to do anything more than what they're capable of. You know, we don't need somebody to go 4 for 4 with a home run and this and that, and I don't need Owen to go out and have 11, 12, 13 strikeouts. It's a matter of playing team baseball, picking up the guy behind you and loving each other, doing the things the right way, playing the game the right way, which is what we've tried to preach and what our kids have bought into. I don't think it's a matter of talent. I think the talent's there. I don't think it's a matter of will. The will is there. It's a matter of execution. And if we go out and just play our game of baseball, I think that we will be in the conversation for a state title. I think that we should win it. Whoever's holding that trophy in Canal Park on Saturday night will have definitely earned it. And I think all 4 teams left are capable.
Anthony Wayne, Walsh Jesuit, a trip to the D2 state title game on the line, and it all goes down Friday at 1. Now, due to broadcast restrictions, BCSN cannot broadcast the game live on the BCSN Plus app. However, it will be available on demand on the app minutes after the game ends. Coming up, Dwayne Lanham joining Nicole in studio one last time this season to recap the year that was in high school softball. We are going to miss Dwayne so much. Great job, guys. Coming up, Heart to Heart, the story of one Ottawa Hills softball player whose life changed forever after getting a heart transplant. At the BCSN Honors Sunday, Ottawa Hills senior infielder Rose Hajar won the Joe Ragnowski Inspiration Award. Ragnowski was a legendary announcer for BCSN who passed away in 2017 after a battle with cancer. And when you talk about an inspiration, look no further than Rose, who despite every thorn put in her side, is shining brighter than ever.
Woo! That's not it.
The ability to play sports is often a gift. For some, to even touch the field takes a lot of heart.
I hope that when people hear my story, they hear a story of hope and they hear a story of love.
The song is called Wildflowers.
It's a really beautiful song.
Written for someone who's blossomed through life's biggest challenges.
I think about how far I've come through my health, but also as a person growing with my family and my faith.
Fittingly, her name is Rose. And she grew from the concrete.
She had dark, thick, gorgeous hair. We would walk with her in the hospital and people would say, "Is that a real baby or is that a doll?"
For Rose's mother, Joy, the joy of a firstborn child was quickly clouded.
The doctor told us a few hours later that she had severe, complex congenital heart disease.
And I had 3 surgeries before the age of 2, so I could live.
The first open heart surgery was at 2 weeks old. The second was at 9 months. And at 2 years old, she had her third and final stage of the repair.
The surgeries later led to complications. When Rose was 5, she developed protein-losing enteropathy.
And this illness really took a toll on Rose. She was missing a ton of school, and she was just progressively getting worse.
So as a kid, it was hard for me to keep up with my sisters, keep up with my friends. I couldn't be a normal kid, but also it was the only thing I really knew. I was in the hospital every week.
Rose's ongoing struggles with her health meant no sports. She leaned on family to be her guardian angels.
My sisters were always including me in everything. As long as I could do everything I could, I was doing okay.
In February 2018, Rose was placed on a heart transplant list. Meanwhile, nearly 500 miles away, outside Knoxville, Tennessee, one family was undergoing a battle of its own.
Michael was very special. He impacted so many people. He was the sweetest, kindest, most genuine soul.
Michael Wells was born on November 23, 1996. He had disabilities that made him nonverbal and put him on the autism spectrum.
He needed help from not just us as his parents, but from the community, from teachers and friends. So he was just a really sweet, genuine, loving child.
On December 8, 2018, Michael was involved in a tragic accident. Days later, he was pronounced brain dead. Michael was 22. His parents, Mike and Tammy Wells, now had a decision to make, whether or not to donate Michael's organs.
It's the most horrific thing to have to choose. And I think the human part of me was just fighting it completely, like I didn't want to. I also knew that there's potentially a mother out there like me who is praying for a child.
One of those mothers was Joy. Less than a week after Michael's passing, she received the phone call she was praying for.
Is Rosie in good health? I said, yes, Rosie's not sick, and at that point I knew.
After a 12-hour surgery, Rose had a new heart. Michael's heart.
And all the nurses and doctors like clapping and smiling, and it really was a miracle.
Rose's heart transplant opened the door to sports. She's been a member of Ottawa Hills' softball team throughout high school. even tallying an RBI in her final career game last month.
So being able to do this now with like my best friends is so special, and I'm so grateful.
Michael's heart not only gave Rose an opportunity to take the field, but some additional family. Rose met Mike and Tammy Wells for the first time in 2020.
I don't know why it's taken us so long to find you and your precious girl, but we know that she has our boy's heart.
If I could have chosen one person in the world to have my son's heart, it would have been Rose. They gave us some light when there was only darkness.
The Wells fly up for Thanksgivings, birthdays, and most recently, graduation, where Rose shared her story and the battle she won.
Rose likes to say that when she goes on her journey, she takes a piece of Michael with her.
A journey that'll take her to the University of Michigan next fall, a place that she knows all too well.
Surgeries, all of my hospital visits was up there in Michigan at Mott Children's Hospital. And now going there to hopefully pursue pre-med is really full circle. Organ donation saves lives, and I'm living proof.
In Ottawa Hills, Yaw Bonsu, BCSN.